The camera hovers over a dark room, its only light coming from a glowing clock beside the bed. A sharp sound of an alarm rings out. The woman, shrilly, reaches out sleepily to silence the alarm, but her hand freezes mid-air. Something feels off. She frowns, noticing the small blinking light on the alarm clock. She leans in closer, eyes squinting at the suspicious object. Rachel said, "What is this?" The realization dawns slowly. She shifts the clock, and to her horror, there is a small lens hidden inside, staring back at her. Rachel gasps in shock, the truth sinking in like a cold chill. She isn't alone. Not in the way she thought. Her hands tremble as she picks up the alarm clock, heart racing. This was no ordinary alarm clock, it was a camera. Rachel rushes to her phone, dialing a number frantically. Her hands shake as she waits for the line to pick up. The voice on the other end is calm, but Rachel's panic is palpable. Rachel said, I think I found a hidden camera. What should I do?" The voice responds with a low, reassuring tone. "Calm down. Just breathe." "What kind of camera?" Rachel's breath hitches as she holds up the alarm clock for the other person to see. The voice instructs her to check for other cameras, but Rachel's mind races. Who would do such a thing? And why her? As the conversation continues, Rachel starts pacing, unable to stand still. The paranoia takes hold. The walls feel like they're closing in on her. Where else could there be hidden cameras? Who had been watching her all this time? Rachel said, "You can't be serious. How do I know there aren't more?" The voice reassures her, telling her to check every corner of the apartment, every object. Rachel hangs up, her heart pounding in her chest. She glances at the clock again, her suspicion growing. What was really going on here? Rachel races out of the apartment, her mind reeling as she tries to process everything. The voice on the phone continues to guide her, but nothing makes sense. Why would someone go this far? Why her? As she steps outside, the cold air hits her face, snapping her out of her daze. The door slams shut behind her, but the feeling of being trapped lingers. She walks briskly toward her car, still trying to catch her breath. The world outside feels distant, like she's moving in slow motion, out of sync with reality. Outside, the cold air bites at Rachel's skin, and she pulls her jacket tighter around herself. The phone rings again. It's an unknown number. Rachel hesitates before answering, a sense of dread crawling up her spine. Rachel said, "Hello?" The voice on the other end responds with a chilling calmness. "We know what you're doing, Rachel. Stop running." Her heart skips a beat. The voice is familiar, but she can't place it. The unease deepens, but she doesn't have time to question it. She needs answers. Rachel freezes. The voice is familiar, but she can't place it. A wave of dread washes over her. Whoever this is, they've been watching her, closer than she could have ever imagined. She begins to tremble, panic setting in again. Rachel said, "Who is this? What do you want from me?" The voice responds, "You'll find out soon enough." Then the line goes dead. Rachel stares at her phone, her hands shaking. A chill runs through her body. The game has begun, and she's already caught in its web. Rachel returns home, her mind still racing with the strange phone call and the discovery of the hidden camera. Her footsteps echo through the empty hallway as she enters her apartment, but the silence feels oppressive, heavier than before. Every shadow seems to hold a secret. Rachel said, "What if there's more? What if they're still watching me?" She quickly checks the locks on the windows, making sure everything is secure, but a growing sense of dread washes over her. The apartment seems different, like the walls are closing in. She can't shake the feeling that she's not alone. Her gaze lingers on the alarm clock in her hands, the hidden camera inside it, still staring back at her. Rachel's heart pounds as she examines every object in her apartment. Her eyes dart from one corner of the room to the next, each space potentially hiding another camera. Her hands tremble as she lifts a small decorative statue from the shelf, fearing there might be something hidden beneath it. She pulls away the curtain by the window, then checks behind the pictures on the wall. Rachel said, "There's got to be more." She starts to panic as the realization sets in. The cameras could be anywhere. As she flips over a cushion, something catches her eye. A small black box is hidden behind the couch. Rachel picks up the box cautiously, her fingers brushing against it as she turns it over in her hands. Her breath catches in her throat as she notices a tiny lens embedded in the side. Rachel said, "No, this can't be happening." She knows now that there are more cameras in her home. Her mind races with questions. Who is behind this? Why is she being targeted? She feels a wave of nausea hit her. The camera inside the box glints in the dim light, its lens staring back at her, a silent observer. Every step she's taken, every movement she's made has been watched. She feels violated in ways she never imagined. Panic surges within Rachel as she realizes the enormity of what's happening. Her apartment, once her sanctuary, now feels like a prison. She sits down on the couch, clutching the box to her chest. Phone rings again, making her jump. Rachel said, "No, not again." She hesitates before answering, fear creeping in once more. "Hello?" The voice on the other end is calm, almost too calm as it says, "We know you found the second camera. Don't bother looking for more. It's already too late." Rachel's heart stops. Her hands shake as she drops the phone. Rachel stares at the phone, frozen. She wants to hang up, to pretend this isn't real, but something stops her. The voice on the other end is eerily familiar. It's almost as if they know her, as if they've been following her life for years. She can't help but wonder, is it someone she knows? Rachel said, "Who are you? What do you want from me?" The voice responds with a chilling calmness, "You'll find out soon enough. But you're too close now. We'll be watching." The line goes dead, and Rachel slumps back into the couch, feeling utterly helpless. Rachel feels her pulse quicken. The air in the room feels thick, as if it's suffocating her. She's trapped in her own home, unable to escape the invisible eyes that seem to follow her every move. Her phone rings again, and this time she answers it immediately. Rachel said, "Stop calling me. I don't want to be a part of this anymore." The voice responds coolly, "It's too late for that. You're already involved. You can't run. We're always one step ahead." The words sting, and Rachel slams the phone down, her mind spiraling into panic. She starts pacing, trying to make sense of the situation. Rachel's mind is spiraling. Her thoughts are clouded with fear and confusion. The voice on the phone haunts her every waking moment. Rachel said, "I don't know what to do anymore. There's nowhere I can go where I'm not being watched." Her eyes dart nervously around the room, afraid that another hidden camera could be right in front of her, mocking her every move. She feels a cold sweat forming on her skin as she opens the blinds, the outside world now seeming like a distant, unreachable place. The oppressive silence of her apartment weighs down on her. Rachel said, "Why me? What did I ever do to deserve this?" Her phone rings again, but this time Rachel doesn't hesitate to pick it up. "What do you want from me?" Rachel said, her voice trembling. The voice on the other end chuckles softly. "You've come too far, Rachel. There's no going back now." She feels a wave of dread wash over her as she listens. "We've been watching you. We know everything about you. Every move, every decision you've made. You're trapped in this game." The words make her stomach churn. Her mind races, trying to understand who is behind all of this. Why is she being targeted? Rachel stumbles back from the window, clutching the phone in her hand. She looks around her apartment again, her paranoia reaching new heights. Rachel said, "Who are you? What do you want?" The voice responds cold and calculated. "You've been part of this for longer than you realize. We've planted the cameras, yes, but we've also planted something else, something far more dangerous." Rachel's blood runs cold as she hears the ominous words. She doesn't know what it means, but the tone in the voice is unmistakable. She feels the room closing in on her, the walls pressing in as the terror mounts. Rachel's fear grows as the voice continues, the words sending a chill down her spine. "You've been followed, tracked, and manipulated, Rachel. You're in this now. and there's no way out. Her heart races, her breathing shallow as she tries to make sense of what's happening. She has to find a way to stop this. She grabs her bag, prepared to leave, to escape. But as she heads for the door, something stops her. Rachel said, "I can't just run. They'll find me. I need to know who's behind this. I need answers." She stops in her tracks, looking around her apartment one last time. In a burst of determination, Rachel leaves the apartment, her breath coming in shallow gasps as she hurries down the stairs. She doesn't know where she's going or what she's doing, but she can't stay here any longer. As she steps into the street, she pulls her jacket tightly around herself, looking over her shoulder every few steps. Crayon said, "I'm done being their puppet." She wants to run to escape the terror that has become her life, but something keeps pulling her back. She knows she has to face this head on. Rachel's footsteps echo in the empty street, the darkness pressing in on her. She stops at a streetlight, staring at her phone, wondering what to do next. She feels a sense of impending doom, a feeling that she's being watched, even now. Rachel said, "What do I do now?" The answer comes from the voice on the phone once again. "You can't escape, Rachel. We know where you are. We're closer than you think." The blood drains from her face as she realizes the true horror. They've been watching her every move, even outside her apartment. She turns around quickly, fear flooding her senses. Rachel's mind races as the voice on the phone continues to taunt her, its calm tone only making her feel more vulnerable. She feels the cold grip of fear tighten around her chest, but she knows she can't run any longer. Rachel said, "Where are you? Who are you?" The voice laughs softly, sending a chill down her spine. "You think you can run from us? You've been part of this from the beginning, Rachel." Her pulse quickens. "No, I don't understand," Rachel said, her voice shaking with desperation. "You've been watching me for so long. What do you want?" The voice remains eerily calm. "We want you to play the game." Rachel's breathing becomes shallow, her eyes darting nervously around her. The world around her feels distorted, like a nightmare she can't wake up from. "What kind of game?" Rachel said, her voice barely above a whisper. "You'll find out soon enough. All you need to do is follow the rules." The words echo in her mind, the finality of them making her feel trapped, cornered. The voice continues, "We've been preparing for this moment. You won't escape." Fear seizes her as she realizes that she's not just a victim. She's a pawn in someone else's twisted plan. Rachel feels as though she's losing her grip on reality. The walls of her apartment, once her sanctuary, now feel suffocating, oppressive. She returns home, heart racing, every creak of the floorboards amplifying her dread. Rachel said, "I need to know who's behind this. I have to find out." She searches her apartment again, moving frantically through every room. But no matter how many times she checks, nothing seems out of place. The cameras are hidden so well, like they've been waiting for her to uncover them. She can feel their presence, but she has no idea where to look next. Rachel stops in front of her bedroom mirror, staring at her reflection. For the first time, she doesn't recognize the person looking back at her. The fear, the paranoia, it's all consuming. "Who am I now?" Rachel said, her voice cracking with self-doubt. The phone rings again, breaking her thoughts. With shaky hands she answers, hoping for answers. "You're not who you think you are," the voice on the other end responds, its cold, detached tone sending a shiver down her spine. "You've been part of something much bigger than you realize." Her heart pounding in her chest, Rachel moves to the front door, hesitant, unsure of what to do next. She feels like she's at a crossroads, her life hanging in the balance. Rachel said, "I can't do this anymore. I can't keep running." She stands still for a moment, trying to calm herself. But something inside her snaps. She knows she can't hide from the truth any longer. She opens the door and steps outside into the night, determined to find out who's behind all of this, even if it means confronting her worst fears. Rachel steps into the cold night air, the city around her silent and still. The weight of her decision presses down on her, but she knows she has no other choice. She walks briskly, her eyes scanning the darkened street for any sign of movement. Rachel said, "I have to keep moving. I can't stop now." As she walks, she hears footsteps behind her, echoing in the empty street. Her heart skips a beat. She quickens her pace, but the footsteps keep matching her step for step. She turns a corner and looks over her shoulder, but no one is there. The feeling of being watched intensifies. Rachel's breath is shallow as she walks through the dark, empty streets, her heart pounding in her chest. She stops in her tracks, suddenly overwhelmed by the weight of everything she's learned. The footsteps behind her continue, eerily constant, never faltering. She spins around, her eyes scanning the shadows, but there's no one there. Rachel said, "Who's following me?" Her voice cracks, filled with desperation and fear. But the voice answers back, not from behind her, but from above. "You can't escape, Rachel. We're always here, always watching." She recoils, a cold sweat breaking out across her skin. Rachel starts running, her legs heavy, each step fueled by pure adrenaline. Her breath comes in frantic gasps as she dashes through alleyways and down side streets. Rachel said, "I have to get away. I have to find somewhere safe." The sound of footsteps matches her pace, growing louder with every passing second. She turns another corner, hoping to lose them, but the footsteps are still there, close, too close. Her mind races as she tries to think of a way to break free. But no matter how fast she runs, they are always one step behind. Suddenly, Rachel bursts into an open plaza, her legs shaking, her breath ragged. She slows to a stop, trying to gather herself. The plaza is eerily quiet, the city's noise distant and muffled. She feels exposed, vulnerable. Rachel said, "Where are you? What do you want from me?" The voice comes again, chilling in its calmness. "You've already given us everything we need, Rachel. You're the one who's trapped." She looks around, desperate for answers, but the shadowy figures lurking in the distance offer none. The fear swells inside her, suffocating her with its weight. Rachel takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself. She knows she can't keep running forever. She needs to confront whatever or whoever has been tormenting her. Rachel said, "I'm not afraid of you. I won't let you control me anymore." She stands tall, pushing back the fear that threatens to consume her. The voice on the other end of the line sounds almost amused. "You can't fight it, Rachel. This was always going to happen." She grips the phone tighter, trying to summon every ounce of courage within her. "I won't stop until I find you." A car pulls up in front of Rachel, its headlights blinding her. She steps back, heart racing as the door opens. Rachel said, "No, I don't trust you." A figure steps out, their face hidden in shadow. "Get in the car, Rachel," the voice commands, their tone cold and unyielding. "We need to talk." She hesitates, her mind racing. What's the next move? Does she have a choice? Her eyes scan the car, looking for any sign of danger. Finally, with a deep breath, she steps forward, deciding to face whatever comes next. Rachel climbs into the car, her pulse still racing, her mind filled with dread. The door slams shut behind her, sealing her in. The figure in the driver's seat doesn't speak, but the tension in the air is palpable. Rachel said, "Who are you? What do you want from me?" The figure turns slightly, and for the first time, Rachel catches a glimpse of their face. Someone she never expected, someone she thought she could trust. Rachel then said, You're behind this?" The truth hits her like a punch to the gut, and she feels the ground shift beneath her. Rachel stares in disbelief at the person in the driver's seat, her mind struggling to process the impossible truth. The figure, once a familiar face, is now the source of all her terror. Rachel said, "It's you. But why?" The figure smirks, their eyes glinting with cold amusement. "You were always part of the plan, Rachel. I never wanted you to know. But now you're too far in." Her heart sinks as she finally understands. Everything that's happened, every hidden camera, every whisper on the phone, was orchestrated by this person. She feels a wave of betrayal and anger surge through her. Rachel said, "You've been watching me all along." The figure turns toward her, their face illuminated by the dim glow of the dashboard. Rachel said, "Why? What did I ever do to deserve this?" The figure chuckles, a dark, twisted sound. "You never asked the right questions, Rachel. You never suspected the truth. You were always too focused on running, on escaping, that you never realized you were playing right into my hands." A sickening realization dawns on her. All the clues, all the signs had been there, but she'd missed them, blind to the fact that the one person she trusted had been manipulating her from the start. Rachel recoils, her hands trembling as the weight of the truth settles over her like a dark cloud. Rachel said, "No. This can't be real. You didn't do this to me." The figure smirks, turning their attention back to the road. "I had to make sure you found out, Rachel. You weren't supposed to be part of it, but you kept pushing, digging deeper, making it impossible for me to keep you out." She's filled with disgust, but there's something else, something even darker. She feels the overwhelming need to confront this person, to demand answers. Rachel said, "What do you want from me?" The car drives in silence for a few moments, the tension thick in the air. Finally, the figure speaks again. "What I want, Rachel, is for you to understand the game. This was never about hiding cameras or controlling you. It was about making you see how easily you could be manipulated, how easily you could be made to doubt yourself." Rachel's breath catches in her throat, the realization hitting her with force. She wasn't just a victim, she had been an experiment. "You were testing me," she whispered, her voice hoarse with the weight of the words. Rachel shakes her head, trying to make sense of everything. You turned my life into a game?" The figure nods, their expression unreadable. "You were never meant to be in control. You were just a pawn." Her heart races, her mind struggling to keep up with the revelations. "How many others?" she asks, her voice cracking. The figure glances at her for a moment, an almost imperceptible smile on their lips. "You're not the only one, Rachel, but you're the only one who ever asked the right questions." The car pulls to a stop. The figure turns off the engine. The silence in the car now deafening. Rachel said, "What now? Is this the end of the game?" The figure looks at her, a cold, empty look in their eyes. "This isn't the end, Rachel. It's just the beginning. The game will continue, whether you want it to or not." A chill runs down Rachel's spine as she opens the car door and steps out into the night. The darkness seems to swallow her whole as she faces the unknown. One thing is certain, the truth has been revealed, but her journey is far from over. Rachel stands alone in the empty street, the cold night air biting at her skin. The figure in the car is gone, their words echoing in her mind. Rachel said, "This isn't over. I won't let it be over." She takes a deep breath, her heart still racing, but something has shifted inside her. She no longer feels like a pawn in someone else's game. She feels in control, driven by the need to uncover the truth no matter the cost. She knows that there's more to this than she's been told, and she won't stop until she's uncovered every secret, every lie. The game isn't over. It's just beginning. Rachel walks briskly through the dark streets, each step filled with purpose. The world around her feels quieter now, but the weight of everything she's learned presses down on her like an invisible hand. She knows she's being watched, but she no longer cares. Rachel said, "I'm done being afraid. They think they control me, but they have no idea what I'm capable of." Her hands clench into fists as she walks forward, the fear from earlier fading into the background. There's only one thing on her mind now, getting to the bottom of the conspiracy, no matter the cost. Rachel reaches a familiar building, the place where it all began. Her pulse quickens as she looks up at the darkened windows. "This is where the answers lie," Rachel said. "It all comes down to this." She steps toward the entrance, hesitating for only a moment before pushing open the door. The creak of the door echoes through the empty hallway, and she feels the familiar presence of being watched. But this time, it doesn't scare her. She's ready to face whatever or whoever is waiting for her. Inside, the air is thick with tension. Rachel walks through the empty corridors, her footsteps the only sound in the vast silence. Rachel said, "I know you're here. Show yourself." The lights flicker overhead, casting eerie shadows along the walls. As she turns a corner, she spots a figure at the end of the hallway. A chill runs down her spine. Rachel said, "It's time to end this." The figure doesn't move, their face hidden in the darkness. But Rachel knows, this is the person who has been orchestrating everything. The final confrontation is about to begin. Rachel steps closer, her heart pounding in her chest. Rachel said, "I've been running long enough. It ends tonight." The figure finally steps forward, revealing their face. It's someone she recognizes, a person she once trusted. The betrayal hits her like a physical blow. "Why?" Rachel said, her voice trembling with emotion. The figure smiles, cold and detached. "You were always part of the plan, Rachel. You just never realized it." The weight of their words hits her hard. She can't believe it, but deep down she knows it's true. The figure's words hang in the air like a heavy fog, suffocating Rachel's every thought. Rachel said, "I survived everything you threw at me. I will survive this too." The figure's face shifts into a twisted smirk. "You've only just begun to understand, Rachel. The hardest part of surviving is living with the truth." With that, they turn and walk away, leaving Rachel standing alone in the hallway. Her chest tightens as she watches them disappear into the shadows. The game is over, but the battle has just begun.